Guys, Red Bull, a team that has been dominating recent seasons, is now at the center of a controversy. It seems the Austrian team may have found a loophole in the rules to make illegal adjustments to their cars. But is it true? And if it is, how does it impact the tight title race? In this video, we'll break down what this suspicious device is, why it's causing so much confusion, and why it could give Red Bull such an advantage. Let's see how the FIA is responding to this bombshell and what actions are being taken starting from the United States GP. And it doesn't stop there. We'll also hear what other teams and drivers have to say about this controversy. How does this whole story affect the battle between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris for the driver's title? And if you don't want to miss any details of this story and other F1 controversies, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get to the point. It all started with whispers behind the scenes. Several teams began murmuring in the FIA's ears about some supposed trickery happening with one of the cars on the grid. At first, it was a mystery which team was under suspicion, but it didn't take long for the spotlight to turn to Red Bull. What were these teams saying? Well, they suspected that someone had found a clever way to bypass the Parc Fermé rules. For those who don't know, the Parc Fermé is like a vault. After qualifying, the cars are locked down and no one can touch them, except for a few small exceptions. The suspicion was that Red Bull had developed a system to adjust the car's height between qualifying and the race. Just imagine, a car perfect for the fast lap in qualifying and then adjusted for the long Sunday race, all without even touching the vehicle. The FIA, of course, couldn't just sit back. They announced that starting from the United States GP, they would tighten the oversight. New inspection measures will be implemented, including even placing seals on some parts of the cars to ensure no one is pulling tricks. And Red Bull? Well, they denied everything, as expected. They claimed that there's nothing illegal about their cars. But, get this, they also admitted that there is indeed a device that could make this adjustment, but they swear that it becomes inaccessible once the car is assembled. The team even said they are in talks with the FIA and have agreed to make some changes to the car. Suspicious, isn't it? But what exactly is this device that's causing so much controversy? At the center of this whole mess is a part called the front bib, also known as the T-tray. Imagine it as a shield at the front of the car, right underneath. It seems simple, but this little piece of carbon fiber is crucial to the car's performance. Why? Well, the bib is the first part of the car that cuts through the air when the F1 is at high speed. It helps direct airflow under the car, which is essential for generating the famous ground effect, that force that practically sticks the car to the ground in corners. Now, imagine if you could adjust the height of this bib. Even if it's just by a few millimeters, it would make a huge difference. In qualifying, with low fuel, you could lower the car, generating more downforce and being faster in corners. Then, in the race, with a full tank, you could slightly raise the car to prevent it from scraping the ground. And here's the controversy. Parc Fermé rules state that you can't make such adjustments between qualifying and the race. It's like playing with marked cards. You have to use the same setup for both days. The suspicion is that Red Bull developed a system that allows this adjustment through settings in the cockpit, something a mechanic could do during normal pre-race procedures. If this is true, it would be a massive advantage. Imagine having the best of both worlds. A car perfect for the fast lap in qualifying, and another ideal for the long Sunday race. Of course, all of this is still speculation. Red Bull strongly denies any wrongdoing. But the fact is, the FIA is so concerned that they decided to tighten inspections. They might even place seals on some parts of the cars to ensure that no one is making these hidden adjustments. But how are other teams and drivers reacting to all this mess? As expected, this whole story caused quite a stir in the F1 paddock. Let's take a look at the reactions from some of the main figures in the sport, starting with the 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton. Always diplomatic, Hamilton said, "The name of our sport is innovation. Red Bull has been leading in that, and they innovated. In the end, they did a better job." But he also added that it's important for the rules to be well enforced. Interesting, right? He recognizes Red Bull's merit, but also calls for stricter oversight. Oscar Piastri, the young McLaren driver, was more direct. He said, "It's what makes F1 F1, but from what I've heard and been told, something like this is not pushing the boundaries. It's clearly breaking them." That's what we call a direct accusation. McLaren, currently leading the championship, is obviously very invested in this story. Lando Norris, who is battling for the title with Max Verstappen, expressed hope that discovering this system could help solidify McLaren's position at the top. Although he downplayed the importance of the device, it's clear the team is keeping an eye on any advantage they can get. On Red Bull's side, as expected, the response has been total denial. Max Verstappen, the current championship leader, said he's not worried at all about this whole story. Sergio Perez was more specific, stating that it's impossible for Red Bull to be cheating, and that they've always been very careful with the car's floorwear. Mercedes, which has had its own controversies in the past, seems to be watching the situation closely. Team boss Toto Wolff mentioned that they are optimistic about their own updates for the upcoming races, but any illegal advantage from a competitor would concern them. It's clear that this controversy is far from over. With the championship so tight between Red Bull and McLaren, every detail could make a difference. And if it's proven that there was indeed some irregularity, well, then things get serious and we could see dramatic twists in this championship. But there's something puzzling about this whole story. Even with this supposed device, Red Bull has been struggling in recent races. How is that possible? That's what we'll explore next. Even with all this buzz about a supposed illegal device, Red Bull hasn't been achieving the expected results in recent races. How come? Let's rewind a bit. At the start of the season, Red Bull seemed unbeatable. Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez were dominating the tracks, leaving their rivals in the dust. But suddenly, things started to change. In recent races, we've seen McLaren take the top podium spots multiple times. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have shown impressive performances, leaving Red Bull behind. The Austrian team, which once seemed to have a magic car, is now struggling to keep up with the rivals' pace. But how is this possible? If Red Bull really has this device that adjusts the car's height, why aren't they dominating like before? There are a few theories floating around. Some speculate that Red Bull may have stopped using the device after the initial suspicions arose, fearing getting caught red-handed. Others believe that the other team simply made such a significant development leap that they've overcome any advantage Red Bull might have had. And we know that this year, Red Bull was being investigated about the asymmetric brake, so if we look at it from that perspective, the car was always technically illegal. The fact is, Red Bull is feeling the pressure. So much so that they announced a significant update package for the United States GP. Helmut Marko even said they are clearly on an upward trend. Really? What's clear is that, illegal device or not, Red Bull needs to find answers quickly. The championship is heating up, and they can no longer rely solely on Verstappen's talent to stay in the fight. Don't forget to leave your thoughts about this controversy in the comments. Do you think Red Bull should be penalized if it's proven they used the device? Or is this just part of the game in F1? If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated with all the controversies and news from F1, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. That way, you won't miss any details of this thrilling championship. See you next time.